My name's Adele Onyango, and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to this episode of Legally Clueless, and this is what's coming up.
From when I came back from the UK in 2014, almost all my relatives, uncles, aunties kept asking me, are you seeing someone? Are you seeing someone? At around 27, 28, I started hearing the voices in my head and I was bending to the pressure. Yeah, so we get married. Society is back at us. People come from a very ignorant space when they ask a woman especially that question. Because one, they don't know if you want to have a child. They don't know if you guys are able to get children. The pregnancy got complicated at around 26 weeks. I go numb and I'm just like, what the hell is happening? Because this is supposed to be a smooth pregnancy and I'm here suffering because the doctor had said, I would rather save you because you can get another child. It's the epidural. I don't think I've ever taken in a painful injection like that one. You're injected in your spine, so you're injected like 3 times and you're told not to move because if it goes in the wrong place, you could get paralyzed.
That's part 1 of Ciru's story. Stick around, it's coming up a little later in the episode. But welcome to the family. If this is your first time listening to the show, you've picked an awesome episode. And there is just so much to listen to watch, to attend when you officially join the Legally Clueless Africa family. So first things first is this show goes out every single Monday. On Wednesdays, we have the Midweek Teas, where I just talk about topics that I feel could help you on your healing journey. And on Thursdays, we have For Mannerless Women. Season 3 has officially begun on our YouTube channel and is also going to show up here on our audio channels on this Thursday. Fridays, we have a seasonal show called Ask a Therapist. Make sure you also sign up for our newsletter. That goes out every single Wednesday. You can go to our website to sign up for that. LegallyCluelessAfrica.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and join us on Insta and on TikTok. All of those links are in the show notes. Welcome once again. If you are an OG member, you know I've got nothing but love for you. And it's just, so incredible to see how the space is just growing and growing and growing. And so we wouldn't be here without the OG members. So I see you and I appreciate you. So today we're going to start a 2-part story that I genuinely believe will stay with you for a very long time, even after the episode ends. We're going to meet Ciru Karimi, who many know as Ciru or Jackie, and she's going to take us through a journey that begins in her childhood in Nairobi, moves us through culture shock, and brings us back into Nairobi, touches on something very many of us African women can, unfortunately, identify with: societal pressure on marriage and kids. Ish. But you know what? Let me not give away too much. Let's just get into the story. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
My name is Ciru Karimi. Other name is Jacqueline, but I don't really use it. So most people will call me Jackie in the office, but Ciru is what you would commonly get me being called outside here. I'm a second born in a family of 5. Firstborn is a gentleman, then me and 2 sisters after me, and the last born is a gentleman as well. I was born in Aga Khan Hospital here in Nairobi at exactly 4:55 p.m., cutting to my mother's tales. Born and raised in Nairobi. I have lived in what I remember, Umoja, out of pictures. Best part of my, I think, childhood, because the pictures I see, mostly I am outside. And I think that's why nowadays I like being outside. Umoja is the time that really, I would say, shaped me up, but really I don't remember much because all I have is memories from pictures I have been shown. From there, I remember Donholm. That's where most of the time I have grown up. Best days of my life, to be honest, because we went to school in Buruburu. Was a good time in Shepherd's Junior, except the discipline, how they used to discipline us. Neighborhood was good, made quite a number of friends. I mean, that's how kids are supposed to grow. Kids nowadays are in the house playing PS, sadly. But as we got the real outdoor kind of experience, which really shaped us to who we are now. Went to school in Buruburu Shepherds Junior for 6 years. Then my dad got promoted, got a new job in now Communications Authority. So we had to move to Westlands. Now that took a different trajectory because we were used to Eastland kind of life, and now we've moved to Westlands where it's more honestly unfriendly. Because making friends in Westlands was quite the challenge because I mean everyone is in the house. There's no one outside, no one to play with, no one to ask directions. I mean, it was just an upgrade, but a downgrade to the kids because we were used to just having fun with other kids outside. Got into Canada for 2 years. Yeah, then had to. I am not the performer when it came to what do I say, primary school education. So I really didn't perform well. But anyway, after all, I got placed in a school in Muranga for my high school. That was another turn of events because it's a culture shock. Because you move from Nairobi to Muranga and you're like, wow, my parents really don't like me. But really, it was all about performance. Based on my performance, that's the school I got myself because the parents always said, you have to look for your school. You have to look for your next school. If you want to go to a nice school, you have to put in the grades. So yeah, I put in the grades that landed me in Muranga, and the culture shock was crazy. Fast forward, I did my 2 years. Every year I used to be told, we'll transfer you to Nairobi, to a Nairobi school. But it really never happened. And fast forward to Form 4, did my exams, I passed, and I landed myself in Kabarak Uni. So having been taken to a boarding school for high school, I didn't want to be in Nairobi anymore for my uni. So Kabarak was the best fit for me. A lot was happening in Kabarak at the time. But the life of uni is just very different from any other institution because this is where we really set out what we want to do in future, what do you want to do as a career, etc, etc. So I did Bachelor of Business Management in IT. Of course, really, I really didn't know what or where it's going to land me because it was a new course, but it was the in thing to be done then. So that's what I did. And campus life is a whole different ballgame because you're on your own. You have to do the right thing at the right time. And the decisions you make at the end of the day will really land you in your future. So moving past that, cleared, thank God, finished my education. And the period between finishing uni and now trying to land a job, tammacking, that is, did a bit of French classes and driving classes as well. Because this is the norm for African parents. You can't just be staying at home, chilling. You have to do something before you get your placement together. I did my courses as I waited for my job. So I graduated in 2010. And I think I stayed out for a year. Then joined the family business. Did it for a year. Then I got a scholarship, a part scholarship to go and do my master's, which I took because it was on the table. What my father had promised is that if you pass your undergrad, you have a free ticket to do your master's wherever you want. So I took it and I ran with it. I went to the UK to do my master's. That was 1 year of absolute bliss because I had never stepped out of the country. I was obviously anxious on day one of leaving the country, leaving my mother and father. It was an interesting journey because we don't all get this opportunity to just get out and see the world different from what you're used to. It was absolutely fantastic, but the anxiety to just leave the country because my folks did not take me on day one as all parents do, or I assume they do. So I had to board the plane, get to the airport, sort out my accommodation, etc., settle down, and get to my master's program. I leave the country. As we're at the airport, there is this just cloud of emotion going around because obviously I'm moving from a point of comfort to an unknown place. And I think that's where my anxiety started, kicked off in my life. I'm partly excited, partly anxious because I don't know what I'm going to find on the other side of the world. Yeah, so we say our goodbyes, and I mean, it's time to leave. And we board the plane. And first thing I did before boarding the plane was to check the weather because I had been told it's going to be really cold. Get into the plane, pray, and hope to get to the other side safely because also I had previously watched a lot of airplane crash investigations. So that was part of my anxiety. And having boarded a plane for the first time to leave Nairobi, I got there, got stranded as anticipated because my accommodation had not been sorted as promised by the agents we were using here. So luckily, I had informed a friend of mine that I will be traveling to the UK to do my master's, etc. So she was ready on standby to just receive me in case of anything. Called her, she sorted me out on a couple of things. Shout out to Ciru Karimi. Got settled in. First week is orientation, but apparently I got there a bit late, so I got orientation already rolling out. But anyway, joined in, settled in. For a few months also, I had to live with another friend because Shiro couldn't really accommodate me and a friend of hers that had also gotten to the UK almost at the same time. She introduced us to... Now she introduced the both of us to to her friend called Bunji because Bunji was living in her own house. Shiro was living in school accommodation, so she couldn't really take the both of us in. So we moved to Bunji's house, and yeah, we stayed there for a month just looking for accommodation. So Shiro's friend, Janet, and I became housemates. So we decided to team up and get a house together, which was easier instead of school accommodation. Having going for masters, you don't want to live in student accommodation because you want the freedom to move around, to explore. Student accommodation has limitations, as all student accommodation normally does. So we team up and we stay with Bunji for like a month and a half because it was winter time, so movement was quite restricted. So we move in with Bunji. Every day we wake up is we're going to look for accommodation, and we also have to make it to class because there's attendance and whatnot, and your folks have paid for you school fees, so that you don't want to drain that. So we'd have had balance between looking for accommodation and going to class and coming back and just doing small errands because now living in someone's house, really you have to behave yourself and just as adults, you just have to chip in into the expenses of the house. So really that's what we were doing while at Bunji's house. But she is a great host. She just made our life very easy. At some point we were getting very comfortable, forgetting that we need to just get out and get our own place so that we can move this master's program. Fast forward, we get our house, we move out, we start the program. It's a success. There are challenges, obviously, because you're outside, you don't have family. I mean, it's just a matter of developing tough skin because you have to survive out here. And you weren't knowing what you need to achieve at the end of the year because it's a 1-year program. So put in the work, did our coursework, made friends. There's an amazing group out there for East Africa. There's an East African community. So we got into that so that we at least feel like we have a slice of home. Yeah, so we used to do activities in the in the community and just to get the feel like we're still at home because of hanging out with people. So we finished masters and it's back to Nairobi because then we couldn't get work permits. The visa that was given when going is a student visa, and it's a 1-year student visa, but they at least extended for 6 months because graduation was one after 4 months after we graduated. Yeah, so we graduate and it's time to come back to Nairobi. A bittersweet feeling because now we had also created family kind of bonds in the UK. Coming back to Nairobi, obviously there's expectation that you have come from abroad. People are expecting quite a number of things, including just stuff that you brought for them, because they think in the 1 year you would have accumulated so much for for them. Anyway, so we come back and my expectation was that I was going to land a very amazing job now that I am fully equipped with my master's. But that was a blow in my face. And this market we are in is quite, I think, limited, or people sort of limit it to what they want or what they're looking for when they're giving you a job. Because most of the interviews I went for, the response was that I am overqualified. And this threw me off balance because I was wondering, okay, so we're told to get the papers in. When we get the papers in, we become overqualified. But with time, I got to know that there is fear of compensation by employers. So when they see the master program on your CV, on your resume, they tend to feel like they cannot really compensate. So anyway, I just pushed on. I got into the market. It was just a matter of who knows who, where, and what can they do for you at what time. Got into a job that really I didn't like, but it was for the experience. Started off as an intern, but I was sure in my mind I was not going to do that for long. So just for the experience and to keep building the CV, I just did it, and I did it more so for the folks because they were getting worried and whatnot. Fast forward, 2017, we get into planning for my wedding. Yeah, I was seeing someone, we had dated for a while, and we get to 2017 to planning our wedding. And where I'm going to with this is societal pressure. Societal pressure is just, I think, on another level when it comes to African culture. The community, the society is seeing Shiro as having done my schoolwork, having performed, having gotten my master's. So what's next for Shiro is to get married and get children. And in my mind, I'm just like, yo, like, what is this order of things that Africans need to do for them to get validation in the society? You go to school, you graduate, you get your master's, you get a job, you get married, you get kids. Then the rest is just what happens to everyone. Over time, from when I came back from the UK in 2014, almost all my relatives, uncles, aunties kept asking me, are you seeing someone? Are you seeing someone? What's the next thing? When are you bringing this guy for us to meet? And in my head, I'm just like, I'm not even there. I'm just trying to look for a job right now so I can be a bit stable because before I start my family, pressure keeps building, but really it was not getting to me. But because I knew women have a biological clock, at around 27, 28, I started hearing the voices in my head and I was kind of bending to the pressure, I could say. But I didn't let it really get to me because I really wasn't ready at 27 to settle down. That wasn't in my plan at all. So anyway, I push through work. I do a couple of jobs here and there. Then 2017, we decided, why not? Let's get married. Let's start our family. So before I went to the UK, I had met the guy that I am currently married to. We were just friends. In fact, before I went to the UK, I was working for an oil company, and my boss was his best friend. So that's how we met, because he was working in a bank and he needed accounts opened and he needed to move the sales numbers. So we were just friends then, but it materialized over time. So this is 2012 ending towards 2013 before I left. We had officially dated for close to 4 years before deciding to just settle down and get this thing rolling. Yeah. So 2017 is here. We're planning and we got married. It was a fun day. It was amazing to get married because we had been friends for quite a while. We just hadn't materialized it. But when I came back is when things got serious and we decided, why not? We have become friends over time. Let's just settle down and do this life together. Yeah, so we got married and society is back at us. And that question really, I don't know, it threw me off balance because I feel like people come from a very ignorant space when they ask a woman, especially, that question. Because one, they don't know if you want to have a child. They don't know if your partner wants to have a child. They don't know if you guys are able to get children. For a while, it took me aback, but I talked to my mom about it, and it is something that the society expects of us. It is what they have planned for us in their heads to do after a certain achievement. So go to school, get a job, get married, have children. I understood some of the people where they're coming from, but honestly, the pressure given to people is quite unnecessary, if you ask me. We had decided, my partner and I had decided that we'll do 1 year, enjoy our marriage, honeymoon phase, then think about getting kids after. I'll tell you for a fact, when the kids come, it's a different ballgame. It really is, because now we're really inside bringing up kids, and it's very different. You have to be intentional about what you're doing. We get our first baby in 2019. It was not what we expected because first the pregnancy got complicated at around 26 weeks. For 26 weeks, I was fine. Everything was rolling out properly. I didn't know I was pregnant for the first almost 8 weeks because, I mean, this is not something that I have done before. And so for 8 weeks, I really didn't know. So what happened is the contraceptive I was using kind of blocks out the menstrual cycle. Like it's hormonal, so it controls how your menstrual. So you don't get a consistent or a regular period. So the doctor had told me when I remove it, I can give it like 3 months for me to get back to fertility. And so I can conceive after 3 months. But bodies are different. This thing is not written on paper that this will work for everyone in this particular way. So we got the contraceptive out. We were trying for the baby. And we got the baby like 2 weeks after removing the contraceptive. But we didn't know because in our heads, it's said that in 3 months is when we can conceive. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 8, I still don't know that I am pregnant. So what triggered was we were out, just kawaida Friday night out life. And after I got really sick, like really, really sick. So I called my doctor friend, asked her, told her these are my symptoms. What should I do? Should I go to hospital? Should I, like advise me? First thing she told me was get a pregnancy kit. And I'm like, huh? But the doctor said 3 months. So she's like, yeah, just get a pregnancy kit first, because I was very nauseated. I was, feeling the work. So I got 3 pregnancy kits just to make sure that I get the real results, the actual results, because I was not ready for this. Not yet. Yeah, anyway, so did the test and double lines. Double lines equals pregnancy. So at first I was like, yo, am I even ready for this? Like, yeah. So my husband had traveled. So when he came back, he found the tests on a table that I had put. And I was just not ready to tell him. I don't know for what reason, because we were open, but I just wasn't ready. I think I was just not ready mentally that we will be parents. So he looks at the test and he obviously knows what that is. And he was happy. That changed the whole of my mindset, and we got moving with this thing because we both wanted kids. It was easy because we both wanted kids. So we get into this program now, a new thing in our lives. Up to 26 weeks, we're good. Started developing complications, swelling, high blood pressure. So going to see the doctor, he tells me that I have a condition called preeclampsia. Preeclampsia is a condition where high blood pressure is consistently an issue over time. So this can cause like death to the baby, even to the mother, if it's not controlled. So I'm put on bed rest for 2 weeks, not knowing what bed rest means. I am up and about doing what wives and mothers do, going for shopping, tending to the house, getting things done around the house. When I went back for my week review, the doctor is like, are you really relaxed? Are you getting out of bed? I told him I've been going to the supermarket and doing my errands as usual. He's like, that's not bed rest. I need you to be in bed 24 hours a day. Like, don't get out of bed unless you're going to shower or use the bathroom. I didn't know that. So this was actually affecting my pressure. My pressure kept going up, and I was not realizing, because with high blood pressure, you don't feel anything. Some people get headaches. I wasn't getting anything. I was not feeling any pain anywhere, but I was swelling. So 2 weeks lapse on bed rest. Then when I was going for my clinic for 28 weeks, the doctor wasn't happy with my results. My pressure was still high. So it was declared obviously a high risk pregnancy. So that's when he said, Jackie, you're not going home. Go and have lunch and come back. We are admitting you. I go numb, and I'm just like, what the hell is happening? Because I mean, this is supposed to be a smooth pregnancy. How comes other women get pregnant and go through till 38, 39 weeks? And I'm here suffering. So we go have lunch with my husband, start the admission process. So all this time I'm just quiet. I'm just thinking something bad is going to happen, because the doctor had said, I would rather save you because you can get another child. And that just didn't sit right with me, because for 26 weeks, you have really, really bonded with this child. Like, it's a whole human. So get admitted, and so many tests that need to be done. You're on watch, like, the whole time. You have a nurse, you have all these people in your room taking your pressure. And that was just so overwhelming because this is not what I anticipated for our first pregnancy. I was looking forward to being a mom, but not in this way. So fast forward, spend the night. And then in the morning, the doctor is like, if your pressure is not going down, we'll have to deliver this child tonight. And I'm thinking, I'm 28 weeks going 29. I've never heard about premature babies. Well, then I really hadn't had an encounter with premature babies. I never got friends who had that kind of an experience. So I really hadn't read into it or familiarized myself with what happens or what we should do. Is there a chance of survival? Like all those things are just going through my mind. So that night, between admission and delivery, you have to get some injections done for the baby's lungs to develop, because now they have to be delivered prematurely. That was the most horrendous thing I have ever been put through. Then after that, they had to give me an injection to prevent convulsions during surgery. And I think my partner thought I was going crazy because the nurse comes and tells you, we're giving you an injection to prevent convulsion. It might make you feel hot. But what it really made me feel, it was like fire was being passed through my body. Like I was losing my mind. So my partner was panicking, not knowing what to do. But over time, I think it just calmed down. But it was just horrendous. So family members are streaming in, coming to see me. We've been admitted. There's a lot of tension because no one knows. We've never experienced this. And the doctor walks in and he's like, we're going in now. This is like 7 p.m. I think, or thereabout. I can't really remember because I was just zoned out. He says there are forms that need to be signed, consent forms, because this is a high-risk pregnancy and we're going into theater. So at first, my partner is hesitant to sign the forms because there's risk of losing either of us. So the doctor assures him he has to do the best to save the mother. I think that's hospital policy, I don't know. So the papers are signed and the process of preparing me for theater is ongoing and I am just not in the room. I feel like I just left the room at some point because I just couldn't take all what was happening. Finally, I'm wheeled to the theater and it is really what we see in the movies. The white lights, you feel like you have actually left and gone to heaven. That was a scary moment for me. And I remember I was just crying and I just told the doctor, just get the baby out safely and whatnot. And he's quite a hilarious guy because he kept telling me, relax. He even started playing music in the theater and I could hear them singing along. And I'm like, you guys, do you understand the pressure I have right now? And you guys seem to be having like an easy time out there. But he told me, Jack, just relax. Let's do our work and hope for the best. So I think I blacked out at some point in that theater because I just couldn't take it anymore. I was not in any pain, but the procedure for numbing for operation was just crazy. It's the epidural. I don't think I've ever taken in a painful injection like that one because you're injected in your spine. It's supposed to numb you from waist down. So you're injected like 3 times and you're told not to move because if it goes in the wrong place, you could get paralyzed. So already there's all this anxiety and tension and it's just crazy because what is this? Why do we have to do it like this? They numb me and I can't feel anything. So they have to test. They keep touching your toes to know if you're feeling anything because that's their sign to go on with the surgery. So I gave them the go ahead. I told them I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't feel anything. So they knew it was time.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. What a powerful story, and that's just part 1. So there are quite a few things that really stayed with me. The first one was probably in passing, and I'm not too sure very many people connected with it. But when she was talking about her childhood and talks about growing up in Donholm versus the loneliness of Westlands, it's so crazy that most of the times as adults, we don't think kids internalize or understand certain things. We think that only adults get it. But whenever I hear not just Ciru, but all of our storytellers come on and remember so vividly, not only the things they experienced in childhood, but like how those things made them feel. I may not have kids, but if you do have kids, whether they're your own or you are mentoring them in one way or another, please just meet them as complete beings. Do not underestimate how much their environment affects or impacts their identity and their confidence, because it does. Another thing, which is crazy because we just talked about it last week on the midweek tease, these societal timelines that are such a trap for women. By age na, you have to have done this. By age na. Hey, first and foremost, I got married when I was 27, 28, thereabouts. Looking back, it's not just the age. I think just where I was in terms of self-growth and self-understanding. Is that a thing? But like how well I understood myself. I had no business being married. Like, to be honest, And yet, society's timelines will tell you, even that 28 is late. They're like, okay, 25, what are you waiting for? You know what I mean? But that pressure is crazy and it just never stops. Like Ciru was talking about, pressure to get married and then pressure to have children. You have one child, pressure to have another one. Like, it's crazy. And the things that I'm not saying marriage can't be this incredible, impactful thing in your life. Please don't get me wrong. I love love and I love relationships and I love the idea of having a life partner and doing life with someone. I think when done in a healthy way, it can be very expansive for both people. So don't get me wrong, I'm all about that. But I just wonder, how comes that same pressure isn't put on women to like further their education, expand their businesses? You know what I mean? Like, if anything, you're told, don't become too learned. You're going to scare men away. You know, don't become too successful. For those of us in business, you're going to scare men away. It's just weird. And then another thing that was really impactful, and I hope you can share this episode and next week's episode when part 2 comes out with everybody that you love, is that most of the times when people are pressurizing women to have kids, they don't even leave enough room for understanding that this is a hectic journey. Hectic in terms of it can be life or death. There's so many things that can shift your pregnancy to high risk in a matter of minutes, seconds, hours, days. Man, just listening to her talk about the forms her husband had to be signing, like, whew. So when we pressurize women to have kids, I feel like we do not even come from a position of knowledge. We don't share the facts of what the pregnancy journey could look like health-wise. You know, there's so many women who go through life-threatening pregnancies quietly. This is because like the world just makes motherhood sound like it should just come naturally. So even when you're going through these life or death high-risk situations, because it's been presented to be this easy, natural thing, you start to think something's wrong with you. These are just some of the things that I connected with. And this is only part 1. Next week in part 2, we go through the surgery and a lot more comes after that. Trust me, you want to come back for that. It'll be out next Monday. Now, if Ciru's journey stirred something in you, whether it's memories of your own pregnancy, pressures from society that you've gone through, navigating adulthood, healing from fear, navigating anxiety, come talk to us. If you want to share your story, you can fill out our storyteller form. A link to it is in the show notes. You're African, your story matters. We want to hear it. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Remember, you can join our community by signing up for our newsletter, following us on socials, or just sharing this episode with someone who you think needs to hear it. All of the links are in the show notes. And as always, I truly appreciate you, and I know you have every single thing that it takes to heal. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.